She gently pressed the car brakes while watching the trash bag closely. It was slowly moving toward the road. She felt confused. Was she really seeing it move? Her car almost stopped as she pulled up next to it. Looking out the window, she finally found out what was happening. That afternoon, Lacey just wanted to go home and relax after a tough day at work. Life had been overwhelming and she really needed a break. Even though she was sick, she had been working all week and couldn't wait to get home. But this simple drive would lead to one of the biggest changes in her life. Lizzie was a regular 35-year-old mom living in Denver, Colorado. She was a single parent trying to create a good life for her small family, which included her 2 daughters, Nancy and Tina. Their life was usually quiet because Lizzie worked as a librarian and her kids were both under 5. But something unexpected happened one afternoon that would change their lives. Lizzie had been a librarian for over 10 years, and she enjoyed her job. She was thankful to work in a place she loved. She usually went to work early in the morning and came home in the evening. However, that week, she caught a bad cold that disrupted her routine. It had started as a good week until Lizzie began coughing. Her nose got stuffy, her throat hurt, and her body ached. Soon, her head was pounding. Despite feeling unwell, Lizzie still took care of her responsibilities as a mom. She got her kids ready for school, had her sister drive them, and went to work. But then everything began to go wrong. First came the fatigue and the insistent coughing. The muscle pains followed. Lizzie's boss noted that she was under the weather and told her to take the rest of the day off. It was an hour past noon, and Lizzie thought it would be a good idea to take her boss up on that offer. She had no idea what was waiting for her on the way home. Lizzie got into her car and began her long drive home. She couldn't wait to jump into bed and sleep. As tired as she was, she took a different route home, hoping to avoid some traffic. As expected, the road ahead was clear, and Lizzie was cruising as carefully as she could. But when she reached the open road, she noticed something ahead that made her brow furrow. A black trash bag that was far ahead on the roadside. Immediately, a movement caught her attention. She leaned forward to get a closer look, finding it odd that someone would throw trash on the empty road. Lizzie didn't think much of it after noting that she was looking at a trash bag, but as she got closer, she noticed something interesting about the bag. The trash bag was moving vigorously, shambling all over the road. Lizzie eased on her car's brakes. She wasn't sure if her sickness was making her imagine things or if the bag was truly moving. She had a rubber eyes to ensure she wasn't dreaming, but with the car almost stopping, she stuck her head out of the window to see what was happening. Something was stuck inside the bag, a creature, by the look of things. It was jumping about and making a strange sound as the trash bag moved across the road. Not knowing what to do, Lizzie pulled out her phone and started recording the incident. Her curiosity urged her to get out and investigate, while her fear kept her rooted to her seat. A minute passed, and Lizzie knew she couldn't stay in the car anymore. She threw her door open with the phone still recording and carefully took her steps toward the moving trash bag. Out of the car, she could hear growls and snarls emanating from the black polythene bag. At first she was scared, but then the snarls became whining and crying. She couldn't step away now. Lizzie took a deep breath and stepped closer to the bag. She inched closer and closer and gently poked it with her phone. Whatever was inside whined, the sound indicating that the animal was in distress. She immediately began hearing alarm bells. It was clear what she had to do. Throwing all caution to the wind, Lizzie unwrapped the bag as fast as possible. Her mouth hung open wide when she saw what awaited her inside. She had thought the worst when she first saw the trash bag move. Her imagination told her a giant snake was waiting for her inside. But even then, she couldn't leave the poor animal trapped inside the bag. Doing the right thing wasn't always easy, but she had help. She neared and opened the bag as quickly as she could and then jumped back. But what came out made her inch closer as her lips curled into a smile. "Puppy," Lizzie whispered, beckoning the tiny fellow to her. The pup ran to her and licked her hands while wagging its tail. Lizzie helped it into the car while her phone kept recording and drove away. She sent out a notice on her social media about the dog as soon as she got home. As an animal lover, she couldn't imagine someone doing something like this. The puppy had a collar on, and Lizzie knew that he had been someone's pet. But how did the dog end up in the trash bag on the side of the road? Had he been stolen or intentionally dumped by his owners? Her heart sank as she thought about how cruel and heartless people could be. She shared his photo on Facebook in hopes that his owner would come forward. "If this is your puppy, let me know," Lizzie wrote on Facebook. "If you are the scoundrel who put him in a garbage bag and tossed him on the side of the road, you are a sicko." After posting a photo on social media, Lizzie quickly took the abandoned puppy to the vet for a checkup. The vet found that he was just 3 months old and healthy. Lizzie's story went viral, leading to interviews with various media outlets. She recounted, "The bag was tied, so I carefully tore a corner and looked inside. It was a puppy, and he was so happy to see me. As soon as I opened it, he started wagging his tail." Despite the attention, no one claimed the puppy, confirming Lizzie's fears that someone had cruelly dumped him by the roadside. Each year, around 6.3 million pets are surrendered to animal shelters in the US, including about 3.1 million dogs and 3.2 million cats. Unfortunately, the tiny puppy was dumped instead of being taken to a shelter. Pet abandonment is a global issue, To help reduce the number of unwanted animals, it's important to spay and neuter pets and support local shelters. Millions of pets are euthanized annually, so adopting from shelters instead of buying from breeders is crucial. A month later, no one claimed the puppy, and Lizzie and her daughters had welcomed him into their family, making Lizzie an internet sensation. Although she recovered from her cold, she was glad that such a dark experience had given rise to one of the best things for her family. The puppy, whom they named Pete, was where he was always meant to be, but this wasn't the last time she would rescue an animal in need. About a year after Lizzie rescued Pete, she was shelving books in the historical fiction section at the library where she worked when she noticed something peculiar curled up on one of the shelves. She had seen a lot of strange things during her time at the library, but this was something else. She had seen dead rats in the library before, but she had never seen a creature like this up close. Not wanting to disturb the little critter, Lizzie quietly called the library director to confirm that the animal was indeed what she thought it was. He came over and couldn't believe his eyes. Was she seeing things? He wondered. No, her eyes weren't playing tricks on her. Curled up next to a book on the shelf was a cute little brown bat, and it was fast asleep. Taking care not to wake the sleeping bat, Lizzie called the local animal service and patiently waited for help to arrive. Thankfully, Officer Roy Bass arrived 20 minutes later. He was extremely calm and easygoing about the situation, even allowing Lizzie to take a quick photo of the bat with the book Bats at the Library. But Brian lies, Lizzie said in an interview. He then gently moved the bat into a box and closed the lid quickly. The little brown bat is found all over the northern US and most parts of Canada, and they live in colonies that can grow to hundreds of thousands of individuals. These colonies will have several different types of roosts, some for resting or napping during the day and others for shelter at night. The little brown bat only eats insects. How the bat broke into the library for a nap is anyone's guess. It's not uncommon to see bats in libraries in Portugal. In fact, bats are welcome guests in these libraries. The logic is that the bats protect the books from pests like moths and other insects that damage paper and old manuscripts. However, bats aren't welcome in most parts of the world because of their bad reputation. Bats have been persecuted all over the world. They are thought to be carriers of disease and bloodsuckers. But the truth is that bats have an undeserved bad reputation. Contrary to popular belief, most bats don't have rabies. In fact, you are statistically more likely to contract rabies from a dog than from a bat. So why do bats get such a bad rap? Worries about bats spreading diseases are not completely without reason. They have a bad reputation because they carry serious viruses like Ebola, Marburg, and Nipah, which can be very dangerous. However, bats play an important role in the ecosystem and help the environment in many ways. Lizzie loved animals and always tried to help any creature in need. So what happened to the bat in the library? The little brown bat that Lizzie found was taken by animal control and released back into the wild at a nearby wildlife reserve. But this wasn't the only unusual event for the library staff. Since the library was close to a wildlife reserve, they had also found squirrels in the storytime room and stray cats among the books. If you see a domestic or wild animal that needs help, you should try to assist it if it's safe. If you can't help directly, call animal control or someone who can. Lizzie believes that all animals have a role on Earth and are part of a complex ecosystem. If you want to do more to help, contact your local animal shelter or wildlife conservation center.